They promised me my usual 45 minutes. But I won't make it through that. This has been 18 months. You know, when you're an independent school head, you have to tell them 18 months before you leave that you're leaving. So, you know, there were all these little kids who said, "You still here?" And I'd have to say, "Yeah, it's not till next year." And, you know, next week is forever for them. But there are a lot of things that I'm going to miss terribly. And a lot of them are in Vanessa's 300 hallway. I'm going to miss walking down there and getting hugs from Rafe. I'm going to miss Charlotte saying, "My, Mr. Salza, that's a lovely suit you have on." And then she'd say, and you're going to retire. And Mr. Hamilton is going to take your place. By the way, where's Doug? Doug. That's Doug. Doug is going to be the headmaster in a few short weeks. Doug Hamilton. Thank you for making my retirement possible. So Charlotte would say, "And Mr. Hamilton is going to be the new headmaster." I'd say, "Yes, Charlotte. Yes, he is." And right in front of our communications director, she said, "And he's dressing more like you now." You want to know what's going on in the world? Ask a third grader. And Georgie in the art room, when I was touring somebody through who was a pretender to Doug's position, said, Are you overtired yet?" And I thought about that for a little while, and I thought, yeah, I am pretty overtired. So when you start telling the same stories over and over again, my daughter Nina reminded me that you move into a stage of life called anecdotage. And that risk notwithstanding, you may recall many times when I'm speaking to you, I talk to you about a line that I love from his song, and it's about the difference between a job, our work, and our lives. And he said in his lyric that our lives are more than our work, and our work is more than our jobs. And for 4 decades, I've had the privilege of serving at jobs that allowed me to do work that was very meaningful to me, to improving the prospects of learners who are not well served in general education environments. I'm one of those kids. And while my job here is over, the work must continue. And we need to keep honing our practice as educational specialists, rejecting the outworn notion of special education. Educational specialists, not special education. We need to build schools that understand the importance of competence over compliance, understanding over memorization, authentic learning over grades and high-stakes tests, reductionist judgments of kids, engagement over passivity, equity and universal design over equality. Equality is not fair to kids. Restorative over retributive discipline, agency and self-efficacy over self-esteem. My heart is full of gratitude. I was standing at a softball game with Principal Reynolds, Rick Reynolds, from Warrensville Heights High School. He has a very challenging job there, and I'm so grateful you do that job. Thank you, Rick. But we were watching our girls' softball teams compete. I think you guys won, right? Yeah. You were visiting us. I don't think you're supposed to do that. But it was a great game, and we had a wonderful conversation. And he said, "You must feel proud." And I said, "No, I don't feel proud. I feel lucky. I feel so lucky Del, I feel so lucky that you were in my 7th grade homeroom. Sadie, you're going into 7th grade. What? 6th? 8th. So your future wife could have been in your 7th grade homeroom. No, don't be so sure. Little did Del know that she would soon become the love of my life, my best friend, woman of our house, wife of my days, mother of our children and grandchildren, an architect of this amazing family who I look upon with love and gratitude. Could you all just stand up and let's take a look at you? In Hawaii, I was blessed with people who put up with this Boston boy who spoke too loudly, whose hands moved too much. I knew they moved too much because I'd be at a table with people and I'd start talking about something and they were ducking. And I thought, this is not working. So I started sitting on my hands and I started lowering the volume that I was speaking at, and I tried to fill my lungs with more aloha. And I got hired there with absolutely no experience being a head of school. And Mr. Patrick McFadden, who hired me in a snowstorm in Boston, tutored me, literally tutored me weekly at a breakfast meeting off campus so that I wouldn't get embarrassed by the fact that I didn't know what I was doing, and forgave many errors and allowed me the space and the runway that I needed to learn this craft and to be able to share with you how important this work is. And I am so grateful to you, Patrick, and it's all your fault. I just want you to know. When I got here, there were some people on the board, Mario Marino and Susan Karras in particular, who were extremely patient with me. I remember when I told Mario and Susan that I couldn't do Lawrence math. It's a long story, but little did they know at that point I couldn't do any math at all. But the fact of the matter is that no head of school does what they do by themselves. It is an incredibly interwoven tapestry of people and brains and hearts and hands and spirits that make it all work. And I have been blessed by so many of these kinds of people who just put so much of themselves into the work. And I get to take credit for everything they do. And I'm here to tell you guys now here at Lawrence, just like I told the folks at Assets, I'm done taking credit for all the great stuff that you do. I'm going to go dig in the dirt and move rocks for a while. Leah, Nina, Nathan, Jackson, Marie, all of our grandchildren, Sarah, Dello, who's at the prom right now, back home, Teko, Lasadie, Aria, Elise, Raina, Desi. Azebo showed up, surprised me. You could have knocked me over with a feather, but thank you all for keeping me guessing, for laughing at my corny jokes, and for enriching my life. When the heart is full, the eyes overflow, and mine is full of gratitude, as I told Rick Reynolds, and a feeling of great good fortune. I am going to leave you with the word most appropriate for this moment. It is a valediction, it's a salutation, and it's an expression of abiding love and affection. Aloha.